Peace to the gang, and welcome to Quit the Cat Podcast. Peace to the gang.
Yes,
Welcome
sir.
back to Quit the Cat Podcast. It's your boy BP,
Yes,
alongside
sir.
the Bishop, coming to you from Bang Bang Fitness Center here in Harrisburg,
All right.
Pennsylvania. And today's guest, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen, is a Harrisburg native.
Yes, he
She's
is.
been singing professionally for the last 15 years.
Yes.
She has opened up or did background for many successful R&B and gospel performers.
Yes.
She is also the creator of the Singers Lounge here in
Yes,
Harrisburg.
yes.
We have Miss Airis Smallwood.
Yes,
So happy to be
What's
here.
going
Thank
on?
you for inviting me.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. But before we get too deep into this, we got to do a quick vibe check. Bishop, how you feeling?
Determined.
Determined.
Yeah, I practiced my word today. I said, how do I feel today before I go on here? I feel determined.
That's what's up.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes. Miss
Airis,
Smallwood.
how you feel?
I feel favored.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. You know, most of the time the guests be like, I feel good.
I like favor.
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Good. How about you, B? How you feeling
Hey,
today?
I'm happy. I'm happy to be here.
All right.
That's what
Happy
we
to
have
be
to
amongst
do.
the land of the
That's
living.
amen to
I'll
that.
take that. I'll take that.
Amen to that.
So, we always do this thing, and I guess, everybody knows. We like to, people might know who you are, but this is for the people that don't know who you are. And for the people that might think they know who you are, we like to go back and do like a upbringing. Tell us how you were born, raised, how you grew up, and we'll go from there so that we can get to know you.
I mean, not much to it. Like I grew up in the city,
Okay.
born and raised, city of Harrisburg. You know, I'm a hillside girl.
All right. All right.
I grew up on the hill. Graduated in 2002.
Okay.
Went on to Lincoln University. Graduated from Lincoln in 2008 and
Okay.
been rolling ever since.
So what did you study at Lincoln?
Mass communications with an emphasis in print journalism, and I had a minor of Black studies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you a writer for a black magazine,
Mm,
publicist.
I thought at the time I was a writer. I really didn't know what I wanted to do when I was at Lincoln, just to be honest. I was just happy to be amongst all these Black people from
Right.
different like cities, and I had no idea that I could explore like my Blackness had depth until I went to Lincoln.
Okay.
So I'm always grateful to Lincoln for that experience. I tell anybody, if you're going to go to college, trade is cool. If you got a scholarship at a PWI, that's cool. But if not, go to a HBCU.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I gotta go and figure out. So when did you recognize your gift of singing?
I've always had it,
Okay.
but I've always been a real serious introvert.
Okay.
So never really ever wanted to be like a mainstream artist or like somebody who was trying to get signed.
Okay.
That's how I kind of got into singing background because it fits my personality.
Okay.
It was too much pressure for me to come up with album concepts, be living in the studio, living pillar to post. That's definitely not me.
Okay.
Brent, you're a Cancer,
Yeah, I know.
we don't like being broke. We don't like that.
That's not a good feeling.
So that's how I got into singing background. I've always known I could sing though. Just always been up and down of, do I want to be an artist? Because having a gift and being an artist is two different things.
Right. So I know you have church background, right?
Yeah.
So is that what you thought your gift was designed for, so to say?
No.
Okay.
No.
I just have to ask because sometimes in families where the kid that's for God's glory,
right.
and you're stuck in that mind frame, or you're put in that position where you might want to use your gift for other things, but then and growing up in the church, it's.
Well, I will say this: I have a unique perspective when it comes to that.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't say I was raised in church. I would say my family was like Easter Sunday type,
Okay.
and but I was always involved in like community choirs and stuff like that. So I still got the training that I needed without having to go to like church and be exposed to like the, you live in church, church is your life. Like there was, when I was coming up, like church was popping in the community and they had real programs for like youth in the city, so I got exposed to gospel music through that. I was in a choir called Youth Explosion, and it was youth from all over the city who participated. So that's kind of how I got that training. But I didn't have an authentic encounter with God until I got to college, when I should have been losing my natural mind. So like, for me, I always knew, I loved R&B music. I loved stuff outside the church. But then when I actually met God, he didn't put those parameters on me.
I know that's right.
So like he's the one who gave me the vision for the Singers Lounge.
Yes, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I never ever had felt that pressure, but I know some people that do.
I think that pressure is put on by other people. I don't like it's forced upon you, so to say.
Well, you know how I feel.
Yeah,
we talk about it
all the time.
We talk about it all the time.
So we definitely talk about that. So because I want to. So you went from the choirs, and were you singing in college?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was singing in the gospel choir, on a gospel choir at that time, and they actually recorded an album while I was on the choir, and then I was also like singing background for people in Philly, because Philly's in close proximity, and at that time, that's when Black Lily was popping, and the whole neo soul movement was coming up right as I was in college. So it was just like really super easy to sing in Philly at that time. Yeah.
So you from college, what was in the gap before you? Because I know you from singing in the Well, I know you before the Singers Lounge, but that's your staple. But what took place in the gap between college and the start of your vision of what you want to do?
Oh goodness! Do y'all have time?
Listen, when it comes to the singing, or just in that, you can tell us we open to hearing all things.
Please tell us.
So let's say that. But in that gap, from background singing, and you knew you just wanted to be background at that moment, what started to change?
Like what changed for me as like my trajectory, like how I ended up where I am now, and not like really fully singing professional background full time.
Yes.
Okay. Well, a couple of relationships in between there. I've been engaged before. Like that fell through. So for a little bit after college, that was my goal. Like, like that became my goal because I was engaged. And, that ended up falling through, as relationships do. So that I was actually working and living in State College at the time. I had landed a job in the Office of Diversity right out of college, like straight out of college. So I lived and worked there for a couple of years. When my engagement ended, then I moved back to Harrisburg. And I was just working, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Because, when you imagine your life a certain way, you think, enough for somebody to say yes to spending the rest of your life with that person. That's, of course, where the majority of your goals will be.
And you have your mind set on that thing.
Yeah, and I was young. But I came home, and that's how I transitioned into higher education. So I actually worked for another university for 4 years. Then I went back to Lincoln to work for another couple of years. So that's, and in between Lincoln and that the one college in Lincoln University, I ended up losing my job at the university I started working for before Lincoln.
Okay.
I can't say their name.
Right.
But
you can throw them under the bus if you would like. You can throw them smooth under the bus.
Run them over.
Run them over.
Yeah. But I worked for them for 4 years, and I went into the office one day, and they said, "This isn't working. We'd like to go in another direction." And I said, "What was the reason? Why are you firing me?" Like at that point in time, like you can put two and two together who it is, but it was a newer university, had just gotten their accreditation, and I was the only admissions counselor with like out of state territory.
And this is before the push of inclusiveness, like how it's pushed.
This is before that. It was. Yeah, it was what it was. It wasn't many of us sitting at the table at the time, but I actually was their top recruiter at the time, so I didn't understand why I was being let go. But I understand now that that's what I had to go through in order to be where I am today. But at the time, you know, being unemployed, I ended up I couldn't find a job.
Okay.
You know, jobs that I was overqualified for, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find employment, so I ended up losing everything. I moved back into my dad's basement, and it was a real slice of humble pie for me at that time. Like I will never, ever, ever, you know.
So let me, I got to go to the space. How was it for you in that space?
Miserable. I think, embarrassing, because at that time, you know, I was a college grad with experience and all of these, you know, I could sing, I could do all of these things, and none of it was putting food on the table for me, you know. So it was like, you know, what happened to her, you know. So I just kind of lived. There would be days I would be in my dad's basement for days and not come up, except like to eat and then just go right back into the hole.
How long did that last? And what brought you out?
So I would say it lasted like around 6 months, where I just was, you know, depressed and not knowing what I wanted to do. And then I ended up actually just getting a job as a parent engagement specialist at Harrisburg School District for temporary and that kind of like brought me out a little bit. So like brought me outside, and I actually that is around the time that I started the Singers Lounge. I was so broke for that first show, I had to pawn my engagement ring in order to pay the band.
So that
ring turned out to be useful.
Yeah, some great things come out of, like, sometimes God has to remove all of those things. Like, you know, He has to remove your comfortability level in order for you to be catapulted to the next level. And I feel like that's what He had to do. Like, if I would have been comfortable, I'd have just stayed there. I wouldn't have took the chance and had a show, because I'm like, you know, that first show, I was like, who's going to come? It's just going to be us singers singing to each other. And it ended up sustaining me for 7+ years.
I gotta go back to that. So the first show, putting together the first show. Did you know what you needed to do? Did you know what you needed?
I did.
And how?
Get from singing my whole life. So I knew, and also knowing, to be honest with you, and sometimes when I talk, I don't have a sugarcoat. So I'm sorry, like if I fit, but sometimes like from singing a long time, I honestly absolutely know what not to do.
Okay.
Like, you know, taking cues from like all of those events that I've attended that weren't good ones, and what and you know, I knew what to improve upon.
So I like that, because that lets you know your vision. So you looked at different events differently. Was that something in your mind that you, one day when you was doing background, said, you know what, I can do this and I want to do this? And did that open your mind to start looking at the business aspect of it? Because I know your college background now, and I know people like with that type of background, you can absorb and see things differently, especially coming out of school, being in that frame of mind. But just to be able to say, you know what, I know this part from standing back here singing and what I see. What helped you to put together and say, okay, this is how we're going to do this, and this is the way that this is going to go for that first show to be successful?
So,
because the business aspect is a big thing, and to be able to get people together and to get people to say, hey, look, this is my vision, this is what I'm trying to do, and for them to see it. You know, some people might not see it, and they just be like, oh yeah, I'm with it, and they just come and then they say, oh, okay. Right. But like for you to be able to say, you know what, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and for them to say, you know what, we're on board, that sounds like a good idea. So how did you have that mind? Did you write it down? Was it something that you just said?
I didn't. That's crazy.
So you just knew?
That's crazy. That just put things in perspective for me. No, I just was at a place in my life where something has got to give. I have to, I have nothing to lose at this point. So why not just go for it? And when I was in it in the planning stage, I just knew what to say no to and what to say yes to.
That's a big extrovert idea, not an introvert idea. So what made you come out of that shell? I know, so that's back against the wall. My back's against the wall, and to feel internally from God, to be able to say, God, that's some external things right there. I'm at, dude. That means coming out of my. How were you okay with that? And that you guaranteedly knew that. That's that word, guaranteedly. Don't come for me. That's what I say.
Let's go.
But how did you know that? Okay, this is it. And I gotta come outside, and I gotta be up there. Now I am not in the background because that's what I said I would do. But now I'm in the front.
Well, so the way that I honestly, I can't, when people come to me for business advice on how to start my business, I feel like I can't give it because I didn't approach it as a business. I approached it as something that I was passionate about. Okay. And that may be good advice. Maybe you want to start a business in something that you're passionate about. But when I was in that active depression, I still had friends and stuff that I was talking to, and a lot of my friends sing. I know a lot of people who sing just because I've sung so long. And they were like, just, you got to get out this funk. Why don't you just go sing in church, sing and do this? And I'm like, where? Right. And I ain't nowhere to go, but church. Right. And karaoke, and I wasn't interested in any of those options at that time. So I was like, I had seen successful open mics being done in Philly for so long. The Black Lily was just one of that's where Jill Scott and all of them got discovered. Yes. But that was just one of hundreds of open mics, live open mics that were in Philly at that time, right. And people would come. And they would perform, and they would mostly perform their own original music. But it was the covers that got people excited because people want to come, they want to sing along, they want to, so I was like, that would be dope if I just had all local singers sing covers to different themes or whatever the case may be, and if nobody comes, at least it'll be fun for us. At least we'll have somewhere to sing. The Singers Lounge. And that's how I came up with the idea, not knowing who would come up, who would show up. And that first show, we didn't even sell tickets. We just said come. And people came.
What date was that? What year was that?
That was 7 years ago. Now you're making me do math now. Well, that was 7 years ago. So what was that?
23 right now. So
that would be 2018-ish.
17, 18.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was fairly new then, right before pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did it feel when those people showed up and you was like, oh, it's popping, it's lit? What was the feeling after that?
It was like, dang, this might work. Like, and then at the time, like, we hadn't even planned on having another show after that. It wasn't supposed to be like a monthly event. And at the time, the manager of River City, he was like, y'all have to do this every month. If y'all have this, like, I will mark off on my calendar for y'all every third Sunday if y'all have this every month. This is what the city needs. Okay. There's a lack of, like, you know, black genres that are represented, and definitely no R&B in the city. Right. So, like, I mean, it was like, all right, let's do it. Let's start doing it, and we've been doing it ever since. Okay. Yeah, and we outgrew River City after that third show and moved to HMAC.
So it's been there.
We couldn't do it no more. They told us, like, we can't accommodate y'all.
Was that hard
That's
for them?
a great thing, right?
Yeah,
there.
that is a great thing. But it started getting too big, and that's why.
Yeah, they were like, we have fire code, and people was like packed in there like sardines. And I like that. I like that vibe. I would have preferred that vibe. And this is why, you know, we definitely need God, because I'm somebody who likes to be comfortable. Like, and if it's working the way that it is, it's really, really hard for me to convince myself to move to the next level.
You got to be pushed.
I do.
You got to be pushed out.
I do.
I think I got to be pushed too sometimes.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah. Okay. 7 years and running. Yeah. So let me ask you this. I want to know. Can you pinpoint what would you say is the hardest thing about putting together the Singers Lounge? That's the hardest thing first.
The hardest part of to me is I really had to learn in order to run a successful business and have people not take advantage of you, to, like, separate who I am personally from who I am sitting at a table. Like, you know, learn to be assertive, learn to speak up for yourself, because nobody else is going to do it. I'm a woman in a predominantly male, you know,
so did you
role.
know about that from missing some marks previously that made you speak up and feel the way that you feel? Was there places that you in that moment sat and you didn't say what you needed to say or express what needed to be done?
Yeah, because I felt like when I first started, I felt like, I never let myself get too comfortable to where I feel like I got it.
Okay.
Like, I always feel like, you know, that keeps me on my toes. Like, I want to do better. And, you know, if I say, oh, people will come next month, I ain't got to worry about it, then that's not true. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I still have to, you know, treat every show like
brand new show.
Yeah, like it's a brand new show.
Like it's day one.
And like I market it like nobody. I want to market it like nobody's ever heard of it.
Okay.
So that's how I approach it, and that's how I approached it when I, you know, sat at certain tables. Like, I did a couple of like committees and things like that, where, you know, I sat at the table with like organizations, and I honestly felt like my ideas weren't taken seriously because, you know, I was the only female sitting at the table. You got to learn quick in that area where to say, like, you know, okay, you can't be quiet, submissive Airis in this setting. You got to say, no, I deserve a seat at this table. Not only do I deserve a seat at the table, I might be the most qualified at this table. Right. Like, that is not a space where humility works.
Yes.
Like, you have to assert yourself.
How did you learn that?
Trial by fire.
Okay.
Like, y'all not gonna keep trying me and expecting me not to tell you who I am. Okay. Like, I'm gonna tell you exactly who I am if you try me more than a couple times.
I know they must not be very observant, because Because trust me, you have this thing where if they look over, like, let's see what's on her mind because this thing is going to pop. You don't want to be around. You don't want to be around when that thing goes off.
Yeah.
Man. So I definitely get it. So if that was the hardest, what is the? I don't want to say the easiest. What flows for you?
What flows the easiest, I think, is creativity.
Okay.
Like, people ask me, like, oh, you know, what if you run out of themes? I don't think I will.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you know, ongoing. Like, I'm always trying to evolve. I'm always trying to push myself creatively.
Right.
So I think that's what comes the easiest.
Yeah, music never dies out. I don't even think y'all even scratched the surface of where you can go.
I know.
Yeah.
We want to start doing more newer stuff, but y'all be having us in this 90s. Then, like, you know, this old school pocket. You know, we want to start covering new artists.
I was laughing because I was like, here come the Saints. So I look at it like it's going to be, it has to be forced upon. Is it going to be hard for people to adjust to? Somewhere in there, but we do have some years that we can cover that was very monumental to all of us, shaping us growing up. You know, there's some classic years and some things that came out and happened during them years that shaped us. So I feel that it would be safe a little bit to stick our toe in. 2000-ish, we can come up.
Yeah, come on, like let's stop. Yeah, you know, we all love the 90s, but
so I say, listen, let's just bring them to the water.
We sneak some new stuff in there every once in a while.
I think just bring them to the water, and so I say, hey, let's go for it. So have you? And maybe I missed it, but I still want to ask. Just because, have we done like single artist showcase from like a whole person's like album? Catalog.
I would love. I want to start doing that. Mm-hmm. Like, I had an idea to do like a couple of like what do they call it? Is it anthology? No, it's like you do a whole album. Like, there's albums in our genre, like when we were coming up, that you could play from beginning to end.
What's got albums like that? They make it like an anthology.
Yeah. I think that's okay. So that is right. Yeah. So like those albums, like, I think that would be dope to bring it to life.
Yes.
In the kind of format that the Singers Lounge has, like where like one artist covers each song and we do the whole album from beginning to end.
Yes.
So that might be coming down the pipeline, but we've done one artist show, and that's Mary J. Blige. Okay. But I would love to do more shows like that. Okay. Love. Okay. Yeah.
So how does your team operate? Is it just you come up with everything and be like, hey, y'all do this, or do you have a squad of people that sit together and y'all come up with ideas and just work through things?
Your face is wrap it up.
You can say they ain't part of the team right now if you want to. You can be like, y'all ain't part of the team for real now.
My team, we do have brainstorming sessions and stuff like that. Like, and they're really helpful, and my team is really helpful. So I don't want to like say that they're not. But if my team was here, they would tell you like, she ain't gonna listen to me anyway. She gonna do what she want to do.
Is that creativity? Is like, hey, listen, I already got the vision. I seen everything. I just need y'all to go with me. Yeah,
I think it's that. You know, it's creatives, like people who are like really, really creative. They have a hard time grasping that anybody's ideas are better than theirs.
They sensitive about their shit. No, that's real. I don't listen to nothing. You better bring me the idea, because if it's my idea, I ain't gonna hear nothing. I'll listen to you, but I ain't gonna take you.
I don't want to participate in this. I'm trying to figure out, am I guilty?
Yes, you are.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I noticed that about myself.
Are. We all are. It's okay.
I noticed that about myself.
That sounds so harsh out here. When
it's real like though. Yeah, it's real. It's like,
it sounds so harsh.
Many people like, oh, well, why'd you ask for my opinion? I just wanted to know what you thought. I didn't really
market research.
Yeah, market research. That's a great way to put it. Market research, yes.
So do you have like now listen, we're not putting it to where you're pinpointing, but do you have certain ones that you do ask and that you know they'll give you reliable feedback, or do you open it up to feedback even if, I don't want to say you're not going to listen, but do you like still ask them anyway just to see if there's something sprinkled in there that you can use or that you might feel is a good idea?
I always be more open to constructive criticism over the years.
Okay.
And I really am blessed in that I have a team that like they're not yes men.
Okay.
Like they will tell me, might not be a good idea to have a Rick James show, or
Okay.
like like
that
just
would be a
something.
fire idea because Rick James is cool. Yeah, I like Rick.
Yeah, I'm just like saying like maybe that's not. We can. There's other ideas we can explore over that, but in having, I will say, in having those kind of people around you, you do have to be comfortable
Right.
enough to say like with like sure enough of yourself to say like, hey, I'm going to pursue this idea even when you think it's a bad one.
Right.
Like, so there's a balance there.
Okay.
Like, you want to be open to hearing constructive criticism because the people around you love you, but also know when they may not be able to see your vision right away.
Yeah.
That sounds so easy. You made that
It's
sound so easy.
it's not. It's
You made
not.
that sound so easy.
It's not.
It's not. It's not.
It's not.
It just sounds
It
easy when
sounds
she
good.
says it.
She said it.
Yeah.
So you just gotta get some constructive criticism
That's it.
from your peers, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be okay. The moment you start,
Go,
you like,
go try that. Go try that anywhere tonight. You can be like,
Yeah.
why are you talking to me right
And then
now?
I'll be like, "What have you done?"
Tell the truth though.
No,
Like,
seriously.
but it is getting to that place and just being open and just knowing that, hey, it's criticism. It can help you,
Right.
even if it stings a little bit.
Right.
It's going to make the sore. It's going to make the cut better.
Yeah.
It has to sting a little bit before it heals.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a hard place. So let me ask you, because 7 years is a long running time, and it's still the beginning. Like, it's just still getting started.
Yeah.
So how do you keep your team from, in 7 years, team, like even here with the gym, people have changed. Now I have some that have been with me, and I know like they're my core people. So how was it for you in the transitioning of people coming and people going, people participating and people backing out, people not feeling like, how does that work for you?
That's hard.
Okay.
That's hard because I'm not in a position where I am like, I don't run the type of business that I have employees.
Right.
I have like family.
Yes.
And having to rely on other people creatively. We need everybody. Like we need BGVs. We need the band. We need those are.
So
yeah, those are important things. It can't just be me.
So is it hard to sell them on continuing to see the vision?
Oh yeah, I've lost a lot of people.
Okay.
Just being transparent, like because they had a different idea of who I was.
Okay.
Did they diminish you in their view of you, or was that how they viewed you? Like you were diminished in their mind, and they were like, "Well, she should just be able to take this," and you're like, "Nah, that ain't it."
People look at me on the outside, I feel like, and they see somebody that is completely different than who I am. And once you undo the layers, you'll see like I'm just me. Like I'm an introvert. Like all I do is like if I'm not working is sit at and listen to music all day or watch HGTV. Like I'm very basic, but when people see me, they're like, "Oh, she's the singer's lounge." Like they think I'm an extrovert, and they think I'm a singer, and they think like that I'm about all this glamorous stuff and like things that really don't matter to me at all. I literally just got into it because I wanted there to be a place for us to sing locally. And that's what I wanted. Like I wanted my friends I wanted to be able to sing, and I wanted my friends to be able to sing.
Okay.
Like, and people think that, I'm richer than I am. that I have, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to be able to pay or finance, their projects. And, I have this emotional bandwidth to be everywhere at once and be everything to everybody. And I don't. And I really burned out there just trying to support everybody. And I put my self-care, my own personal goals on the back burner for a very, very long time. Because I just felt like, because these people support me, I got to support them. I got to be there at every single event. I got to be there, for every single thing that they do. I have to be there because they supported me.
Right.
But they also supported me because I provided something to them.
Right.
Yeah,
it was a mutually beneficial relationship. I have it's very, very hard. When you own a business to have those professional working relationships when, you spend so much time together. You just become family, and the lines get blurred,
right.
or whatever. And people see what you do, and when they're involved from the when they're involved somewhat, they think, why aren't you doing it that way? Why don't you do it this way? Why don't, it's like, if I was in charge of that, I would do it this way.
Right.
And that's not how it works.
It ain't.
That's not how it works. Everybody thinks that it's so easy to do something until, you actually have to do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People look at it and say, all you got to do is, I had one friend at one time who told me, all you got to do is release a flyer and press a button. And your event is selling out. That's not the same as my business. I have to do this, and this, what my business. And, you basically have preferential treatment because of who you are. People will just support you. And I was like, that is not how that works. Do you think that I just woke up and said, it took me,
to my show, and then everybody showed up.
I was like, okay, well, if I press that button, then who is going to book the venue? Who is going to teach the background singers their parts? Who is going to recruit singers to sing? Who is going to make sure that the band is rehearsed? Yeah. That is all stuff that I have learned over the years, and that is that you don't have. Those are skills that you don't have.
Right.
So how could you say?
Yeah, and I gotta make everybody feel equally important to do their job.
Right, and they are but also I'm human, and I'm people think that just because you're in a position of power that you don't have the ability to make mistakes or make the wrong decisions. But certainly I'm still growing in that area. I have to find a comfortable balance between business and the friendships that I've acquired through the Singers Lounge.
It's sad that people see it like that, but it's also a blessing because it shows that they, from their limited perspective and their view from looking in out from the outside, they're like, yo, she's doing great. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's the blessing and the curse of it, is you are doing great, but they don't see all the background stuff you got to do. And they just take it as, well, everything she does is successful. It's just a negative way of looking at it, opposed to them just saying, hey, I think what you do is successful, and just giving you your flowers. They kind of throw shade, and then
it's very and it doesn't help that it's an entertainment platform, because really surface level is all you see. That's all you're supposed to see.
Yeah, right.
You don't see the nights that I don't sleep because I'm trying to figure stuff out. I'm trying to make sure that every show has what it needs to be able to succeed. You don't see my brainstorming sessions with my team, or the times where we've had 4 or 5 artists not show up. Yeah. To a show that's being scheduled that's scheduled to go on in the next hour. Yeah. And having your team learn those songs so that we have a complete show.
Yes.
Like, they don't see that.
And it be flawless when it happens. You
Yeah.
can't tell the feeling until you be like, well, this person feels it in this way.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a blessing in of itself to be able to have those people around me. So I do take that responsibility seriously to find that balance between, friendship and professional. Like, cause I need them.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I need
So is it
them.
getting easier? As
I
far
don't think
as-
it ever gets easier. I honestly don't. Like, because when feelings get involved, like it's gonna get
Messy, yeah.
messy.
Mm.
But that's the only way I honestly prefer to run my business. Like, I prefer to have people around me that I like.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
that I want to see win, and they want to
Yes.
see me win. So I think it can become messy, but it's like any relationship. If if you love that person loves you, it's worth it.
Right.
Well, we like to always ask people in their respective field, especially when it's entertainment and something like this. How do you feel about the state of R&B right now, where we're at? You know I was going to ask you that. I'm going to ask you that. So now you're throwing out here.
Go ahead, talk about it.
Whew.
Let them know how you feel.
I always tell Brent, like, I feel like nobody can out R&B me. Like, I don't do, like, R&B. Like, people be like, oh, I listen to R&B when I'm cleaning. Like, they prefer, like, hip-hop, rap,
Right.
whatever. Like, is their number one genre. Everything else is a distant second for me. Like, I'm a huge R&B super fan, always have been. To me, R&B is just as important to the culture as hip hop is.
Absolutely.
Like, it's just as important.
If
And
not more, because R&B been around before.
Way before hip hop.
yeah, but it's treated like a second, kind of like a second option. I feel like it's becoming like a distant second to, like, the more, like, hip hop, R&B, and now even pop is entering into it, because really nowadays I can't tell the difference between pop and R&B, except that one artist is black and one is white.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the R&B that comes out that is successful it takes out that church influence, like that cornbread that you're used to hearing, like when you heard like Kelly Price and like all of those people that could really, that we consider actually can sing. Now it's like kind of like a real quiet falsetto. They don't do as much with their voices what they used to.
Like microwave cake.
Yeah, exactly. It's
terrible,
very especially like the female singers. To me, like, everybody sings in falsetto. Everybody wants to sing like whispery and pretty. Like, and I just want desperately for somebody to just growl on a microphone, like, and like give me like that.
Who does
that
that
feeling?
Who does that for you right now? Who does that for you?
What was the sigh in there? Think about it.
Oh man, as far as singers nowadays, I'm Jasmine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jasmine Sullivan. I like the newer art. Like, I like Queen Naja. I like Airy. I like Snow Allegra.
I like Snow.
I like a couple of, like, I love them for what they do now. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be one of those people who's stuck in the 90s and doesn't learn to appreciate music as it evolves. But does it give me that same feeling that it gives me when Anita Baker, You Bring Me Joy comes on? Absolutely not. It doesn't. It doesn't. It just doesn't hit those those points for me. That it doesn't hit those points. It doesn't give me what I need.
Right.
It'll give me enough to sustain me, but it doesn't
feed your soul.
Yeah.
I feel you, because they all seem, all those artists, they're fairly similar in my opinion. Like they're not. None of them are like too off from the next one. They're just kind of like, all right, they're all in the same room. But I think they're all dope. Do you write as well, or you just perform?
I can write. Do I enjoy writing? No.
Right. Okay.
I enjoy I don't know, like it's easier for me to just learn other people's music and perform it than it is for me to like come up with something from scratch.
Yeah, because I try to talk her into dropping the EP.
Oh,
Why not?
I was trying to tell her that's what we need to do.
that annoys. Like, let me tell you something.
That is no.
The whole studio process annoys me so much. Like, it just be like all of us in the studio. Oh no, you should say. Instead of that, you should say that, and instead of you should do this. You should do it lower. You should do that. You should, add harmony right there. I'm like, shut up. This is like ridiculous. Like, and nobody knows like if you're gonna like if it's gonna be good. Like, you get so caught in like, I feel like in the studio you get so caught in like just the creative process that you have no idea. Like, you have no idea of what's dope anymore because, like, you're just pouring everything into the song. And, like, that's how, like, you ever see, like, on TV, like, one of those whack rappers and, like, they'll, like, in the studio. No, for real, like, in the studio, and they'll be, like, all hype over, like, reciting a lyric that's trash. Yeah. I'd be scared that's going to be me.
Oh, no.
like how do they get to that level? How do they get to that?
I use that
for that to be you. Right. If you're not that confident, you would never sound that way.
And I use that as one of my examples. I tell people you have to believe in yourself
absolutely
as much as they do.
But
as much as a whack rapper, you have to believe in yourself.
Listen, we know it's trash.
Yes.
The people that's in there with them know that bar was trash.
But they don't believe it though. So how do you get to that level of delusion?
You gotta let them listen.
I don't know,
I feel that level of delusion will take you somewhere.
It's gonna take you out this world.
Yes.
Yes.
Listen, I respect that. I respect.
If we had as much belief as whack rappers, this world would be completely different place.
Everybody should have whack rapper confidence.
Whack rapper confidence. Let's go. I'm telling you.
Listen, it's a thing. And
that's hilarious.
Because I look at it with a different lens now. I'm like, why can I be mad?
Yeah.
They are really excited and don't say nothing.
And even some of that whackness rubs off on you. You be like, I kind of like that song. It's terrible.
It's the confidence listen.
It will convince you.
Yes. It will pull you through.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, it's going to be at least 20,000 whack individuals that let this whack rapper know that he is hot, and they're going to love it, and they're going to
pay you for it. So.
Yeah. Of all the things musically that I could do, that is the thing that I'm the least interested in. It would, I mean, I know I probably will do it just to say that I did it.
I will hope so.
But, like, I don't know that's something I feel, like, passionate about. I more so, like, would like to get into developing artists. Okay. I think I like that a little bit more. Like, helping them find out who they are creatively than I would be at this point in my life. I don't know.
So did you think about being a singing coach?
Yeah. I have a nonprofit part of the Singers Lounge where we're looking to do that a little bit more often. More so just not only like giving them vocal instruction, but just giving them the tools that they need in order to have a chance. Because when I was growing up, there was no TikTok, there was no there was no social media. You had to move to New York or LA in order to be put on.
Atlanta and all that.
Yeah, like you had to go out there and physically get it. Now you can post a video from your bedroom on TikTok and go viral, and you don't ever have to leave the city in order to do it. Right. It's just a different industry now, and really now, in order for you to get signed, you have to have a social media following. first before they will even consider you. So that kind of stuff. And in order to have, you have to have tough skin to be in this business. Yeah. And I'm be honest with you, some of the people that I come in contact with, they just don't got it. They can't accept. Like, I've had people in really high places like tell me, like, I'm vocal about this. I've struggled with my weight my whole life. Okay. Like, that's a really big reason why my career didn't go as high as it would. Like, it's vain. Like that. It's a vain industry. Like, it doesn't matter how hard, how good you can sing.
Oh, wow.
Like, I had literally auditioned for Harv Pierre. That was, yes, that was, he was the second in command at Bad Boy. He's, and I sung, he didn't want to hear me. So, like, he was like, next. He saw me and said, next. Dang. And I started singing anyway. Because that's what that's the kind of mentality you gotta have. Right. Like, this is Harv Pierre. He's not going to hear me sing. Like, right. You get what I'm saying? So I started singing, and he was like, nice voice, but you need to lose weight. And I respected that because he said I had a nice voice. Right. I never even thought, because I was so deep in it at that time. Like, I was trying to get on. Like, I wanted to sing background for everybody and do all of these things. I was just so conditioned to people bringing that up as, like, a deterrent. Like, and this is just to sing background. This ain't to sing. This ain't to put albums, to sign a 3-album deal or nothing like that. Like, you have to be comfortable with people bringing up your insecurities. You have to be comfortable with being told no, because all it takes is that one time for somebody to say yes, and that's your opportunity. Absolutely. Like, it's a probability game, for real. As much as the more you put yourself out there, the more chances you get of being put on. Okay. So I think that kind of guidance is needed, and I think a lot of times when I came up in the city, people would say, you need to leave Harrisburg. You got to leave Harrisburg to be able to get on. You got to do this. You got to do that. People ain't checking for no Harrisburg singers. They only checking for Philly, New York. We can sing too. Yeah. We can sing, and there's a lot of people here that can sing. And when you have that in your ear, even if you want to move to Philly or move to New York, you're gonna be thinking, "Oh, I'm just some girl from Harrisburg. Mm-hmm. Like, what chance do I have?" But with the right development, we can absolutely bang with Philly. Right. We can absolutely bang with New York. Like, we can. There were some people that I know right now that sing in a storefront church that will sing these girls that are chart topping, like, under the table. Yes. Make them scared to sing ever again. Yes. Like, and I hear them. That's what I like to hear. Seriously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So before we leave out here, I know the brunch tickets are sold out, but there's still the day party tickets available?
Yeah, we got about 10 day party tickets available still on our Eventbrite.
9. Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, no.
I still get in. It's 10 for y'all. I get in there.
Yeah, you're not even concerned about it.
Yeah. Show up. Pay at the door for me.
Exactly. Spoiled.
Yes.
So... yeah, but those are still available. Absolutely no brunch tickets left, though. But we do have that available, and we're doing that's like a day party. Okay. So it's not like a full blown out singers lounge, but that in September we have an actual singers lounge at the winery.
Yes.
And it's going, the black folks, they love a color coordinated event, and I've never had one before. Okay. So this one is going to be R&B and rosé, so shades of blush, pink or whatever. Like, I could just already see the optics, all these beautiful brown and black faces Yeah, because I've never done a color coordinated event, and I feel like all white and all black has kind of been done before.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do something a little different. Hopefully people will come out to that too.
Okay.
They will.
So before we end,
Thank you.
how many podcasts you been on so far?
I don't know. I think I've been on not a lot
Okay.
because I'm only here for you
I
because
appreciate it.
I don't even like talking to people.
Yeah. I had to ask her. Like, when you gonna do it? You ready? She's like, I got you. I was like, all right. Well, we here now.
This
And we
might be
appreciate it.
this might be my second or third
Well,
one.
we appreciate it. You did well.
Thank
You
you.
did well.
Y'all made me feel comfortable, so I
I'm glad.
appreciate
That's our
that.
mission.
Absolutely.
That's our
Let's
mission.
do it.
All right.
Well, you want to tell them where they can find you at real quick?
Yes.
I mean, they
Tell them where they
could.
can find the Singers Lounge at least. You know what I mean?
Well, we don't have a website right now. We're working on that.
Social media?
We do. We have Facebook and Instagram, and it's just Facebook/The Singers Lounge,
Okay.
IG/The Singers Lounge, and we'll pop right up.
All right.
Make sure y'all go follow that right
Yes,
now.
sir.
Well, we'd like to
Yeah.
thank Miss Airis Smallwood for
Yes,
coming
yes.
through
No
again and chopping it up with the podcast. We
Yes.
thank you. We
All right.
enjoyed your story. We appreciate you coming
Yes.
through.
Yeah. Hopefully, I didn't over talk
No,
y'all.
you did good.
Okay,
You was
good.
smooth. We want you to talk. You don't have to say nothing. Just go ahead and talk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, this has been another episode of Quit the Cat
Yes, sir.
Podcast. It's your boy BP alongside the
Yes,
Bishop
sir.
with the special guest today, Airis Smallwood. Until next time, people, I holla.
Peace.
Peace. Peace to the gang, and welcome to Quit the Cat Podcast.